We need a roll. If there's a quorum, I can conduct that since we don't have Ashley here. I can just tell you from, if you want me to read them off, I'll read them off. Lisa Miller, Karen Tepley,
Here.
Mr. Jelinek,
Here.
Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Mr. Cairns,
Here.
and myself, Todd Coppernoll. We do have one open seat, so we do have a quorum. Was this meeting properly noticed, Matt? Did you-
Yes.
Yep, okay, thank you. Okay, next is approval of the minutes. Once the group has had a moment to read through those, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve planning minutes from 9/25/24.
Motion to approve from Karen Tepley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mark Jelinek. Any discussion of the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the previous meeting minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next, discussion and possible action items. Item 2, public hearing for the application of Arlene Fruit to divide a parcel of land located at 23741 Covered Bridge Road, tax parcel 022-0741-4000. Okay. What do you got for us, Matt?
So you guys have kind of the packets in front of you here. So, for everything with this land division, we do have, if you follow through the packet, I did send out notices in the mail, and they were sent out on October 1st, 2024, and then I did do 2 postings in the paper as well. So with that, the second piece here is the township board approval.
One second, man. I'm not sure if you were the ETZ board.
Well, Matt's off.
Yeah.
Because he's here now. So.
Well, you're saying.
No, I'm saying the
city
city's members.
Yeah.
The composition is required to be 3 members from the township and 3 members from the city, appointed by the city. And so I was just, because for voting on something, I just guess I'd like to know who those members are, if they can be identified.
I don't have a list in here to tell you who that is.
I'm seeing if I can.
And yeah.
I'm having trouble locating it.
I just messaged Mark to see if he knows.
Message who?
Mark Stewart, since he's been part of these before with the other splits
Yeah,
with
and the
DTZ.
way we've been doing these for as long as I've been down here.
Yeah.
It's with a 3-person panel from the township. So if we need to rectify something on the city side, we can do it. We just can't do it on the spot here.
Right.
No, and I'm fine with proceeding. I think we're all going to be in agreement tonight. It's just,
Okay.
in looking at older stuff, preparation is me, and I came across in the ETZ ordinance where it does state that specifically this board constitutes 3 members from the city and 3 members from the township.
Okay.
And they vote, and after that, it goes to the plan commission for further on moval up to the council.
Okay.
So that's fine, we can,
Good, thank you. I'll talk to Ashley about it in the morning.
sure.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yep.
I know I'm on the ETZ board.
Okay.
I do not know who else.
And I don't
used to
remember.
be, but I don't think I
I
am.
don't remember. So we'll get it for you, Aaron.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you pointed it out. And then Renee, you are.
I did update, so it'd be Aaron Palmer, Matt Schmitz, Kelly Bradford, and Gordon Palmer for backup.
Okay.
So we have for the ETZ for the township, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so we're at the public hearing for the application of Arlene Fruit to divide a parcel of land at 23741 Covered Bridge Drive, tax parcel 022-0741-4000. Matt, okay, intended use, what are we doing here? What's the reason for this?
They're gonna do a land split, I'm not sure the reasoning. Yes, and eventually,
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Sean Walsh, I'm surveyor for the applicant, Arlene Fruit. She's not able to be here tonight, so I'm here on her behalf. The reason for the land split is that Arlene has moved out to Pine Valley Manor, and they've got some interest in the property. Apparently, most of the parties that are interested only in a smaller parcel. They don't want the whole 7.5 acres. So the Fruits would like to divide it to make the house more appealing for sale, and then they'd like to retain that other 4 acres as a future possible building site, and to help finance the rest of her golden years.
okay.
Okay. Is there anyone here that wants to speak at the public hearing?
Yes,
For this,
please.
for this? Yep.
I'd like to.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm a neighbor right across the, I'd be on the west side of the driveway, and being that that driveway is in my view and this and that, I'm actually opposed to it, so I don't want to actually see another driveway as far as a building site would be in the future.
Go ahead, Sean.
There's a 66-foot easement shown along the west side of Lot 1 on that, and that's for the existing easement for the driveway that goes back to the house. It's actually a little more complicated than that. There are a number of easements along the west side of that property. None of them serve the house that's back there. So there's an easement that serves the property that's another property back beyond that yet. And then, so the CSM seeks to resolve all of these easement issues. There's utilities that run in that corridor, and there's a parcel that already has access along that blacktop driveway. So Fruits own the blacktop driveway, and they intend to use that same blacktop driveway to get to the back of the property and not construct a new driveway. I think the township probably wouldn't permit another driveway adjacent to the one that's there anyhow for drainage purposes and everything else.
Okay, so the intent is to utilize the driveway that already exists, not to add an additional.
There won't be any additional driveways.
Sir, was that your primary concern, is that you didn't want a second driveway?
Well, that and the love for that land that's there, I actually don't want to see another house built, and I'm actually, I mean, I know Fruits very well, they're like a family, so in due time, I mean, I thought maybe they would have been here. I'm actually interested in buying the property that they want to split, and actually possibly buying their home too. That I don't know about for sure, but I don't want to see a home built up behind that house, just because I love the country, the way it was, and how Dwight intended it to be, and I'm real interested in buying that property, so. I'm opposed to a house being built there.
Well, how many homes can be built? I think you said 1 acre.
Sean will answer that.
Okay.
So,
Actually, the proposal isn't for a house. So we're not denying a house here, it's just for a land split, and it may be a possible future building site. Doesn't mean that. So if there's gonna be a building there, they'd have to get a permit for that.
Correct.
And that would be a time to oppose it. So conjecture on a possible future home isn't really reason to deny a land split.
Yeah, I concur with that. The primary reason for the hearing is to determine whether or not a land split can be done within the ordinance and the ET zoning, not questioning the use of the property at hand. This is simply a hearing on whether or not the land could be split legally.
Okay, thank you, Sean and Jason. Okay, is there anyone else with a comment on this?
Well, in the future, how many houses can be built on that land split? My understanding is 1 house per acre, right? So what are you looking at, 3 or 4 possible homes?
I don't think that site would be conducive to that many homes.
But once again, you have to look
I think
at,
you probably only get 1 septic system on that site. And there's
Right.
really just 1 level spot up on top that would be suitable for building. So I don't think that that would be likely.
And at this point, we're not discussing on
I understand that.
how many
I get that.
houses or whatnot. So I am, it's usually 1 acre for a single or two-family dwelling, 1 acre, so all takes an ETZ, but we're not discussing that, we're just discussing the land split today.
Thank you, though it is still 1 per acre though, correct? Okay, to answer the question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
So basically, no matter what we feel, you guys already made up your mind.
Well, that's the
No,
plan.
no, that's not what anybody said.
Oh.
What we said is, what we're doing right now is just deciding whether or not they can divide the parcel, because nobody's even approached us about putting any houses up there.
Okay.
That would be a separate conversation if they ever did that, but they haven't even done that.
And that's gonna be a meeting just like now, so they're gonna have to go through the right channels, the proper applications, you know, and come through and say, this is what we wanna do, and then it's gonna come through, and we're gonna be sitting here again with the same meeting and just a different agenda.
Any discussion from up here?
Have you talked to them about buying it?
Vaguely, but I mean, I know them personally, so yes, I will.
Okay, I've asked a couple times, but formally, this is the second request. Is there anyone else who's got a comment? Public hearing for the application of Arlene Fruit to divide a parcel of land at 23741 Covered Bridge Drive, tax parcel 022-0741-4000. I'm required to ask one more time, so I'll do that. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in the public hearing for the application of Arlene Fruit to divide a parcel of land located at 23741 Covered Bridge Drive, tax parcel 022-0741-4000? Okay, Sean, anything else to add at all on this property? Or Matt?
Nope.
Anyone on the ETZ board, any questions, comments?
None.
Okay, at this point then, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the application of Arlene Fruit to divide the parcel of land at 23741 Covered Bridge Drive, tax parcel 022-0741-4000.
So moved.
The motion, is there a second? Was that a second from Lisa? Thank you very much. Okay, any discussion? Okay, have the motion, the second. All in favor of closing the public hearing, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Item 3, okay, consider the request for the application of Arlene Fruit to divide a parcel of land located at 23741 Covered Bridge Drive. Okay, so she wants to separate this. Sean, you did a little explaining why. We haven't been approached of anything about what their intended use would be. We've just been asked to consider whether or not they can split the parcel. Okay, is there any issue out there legally, anything that's come up?
Nope. Everything meets our standards, our ordinance, all the setbacks meet our ordinance and the ETZ ordinance.
Okay, Sean, any reason, any issues?
No, I just wanted to clarify though, that if they do find a buyer ahead of time that wants to buy the whole works, they can refrain from recording the certified survey map, and the split never happens. And so you folks have plenty of opportunity to work with the Fruits before this is a done deal. It's probably a month out yet before you see anything recorded,
Okay.
so.
I appreciate that.
And that's a great point, and thank you for that. And I don't know the Fruits you do, but maybe if you got access to them?
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
Talk to them.
Okay.
I mean, I even talked to Rick a little bit beforehand of this, and, you know, he's like, it's a public hearing, you know, check it out.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're here too. Sean, but there's no issue with the, okay. And we already heard ETZ doesn't really have any objection. Does anyone up here have comment, question, anything on this one? Okay, in that case, I'll entertain a motion to recommend, this needs to go to council, doesn't it? To recommend to the city council to grant the application of Arlene Fruit to divide the parcel of land at 23741 Covered Bridge Drive.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion from Mr. Palmer, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from, that was Karen?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Matt, can you conduct a roll call vote for me? Can you do that?
Absolutely.
Do that for me.
I'd love to.
Yeah, do that for me.
Did I get a roll call?
Just name them off and ask.
Name
them.
off? I don't know the names yet,
We're
I'm still
gonna fix
new.
that. I'm gonna help you do it. Lisa Miller. Yep, that's a yes. Karen Tepley.
Aye.
Todd Copperl, I'm an aye.
Yes. Sorry, Jelinek, yes.
Jelinek,
Ray Wilson.
Wilson, and Karen.
Aye.
Okay.
And
Like
Matt,
the
your last
beer.
name. Your last
And
name.
us?
And we're gonna do Palmer,
Aye.
Bradford.
Aye.
All right.
Okay,
Motion carried.
and that motion is carried. Okay. And at this point, we can adjourn the ETZ board unless you have anything else that you want to discuss.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
You want to second that?
Sure.
Motion is second.
And then we'll be in touch about our 3 board members for the city.
Okay, thank
Okay, both of you in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, item 5, public hearing for the application of Doris Schmidt to divide a parcel of land located at 361 South Irish Street, parcel 276-2100-7460. What do we have on this one, Mr. Matt?
All right, so I did send out the letters, 300-foot radius of the property on October 4th, 2024. 2 paper publishings I did put out as well. So what we have here is, as you guys can see, I kind of did my best. It looks like my son kind of drew in the GIS map here, but I actually did that. I'll take credit for the scribbly, but, so they're looking to do a land split on these 2 parcels. So right now on the Irish Street parcel, we have, it's 8,712 square feet. And then on the Kinder side, it's 4,556. So what we have here is, we have a 1 conforming lot on Irish Street, and then on Kinder Street, we actually have a non-conforming lot. So we actually have, the non-conforming we can't fix, right? I mean, that's something that was amended at the time that this was already built and kind of platted this way. So with their land split, so a minimum square foot for a lot size is 8,000 square feet. The minimum width size is 60 feet. And as you guys can see that, I don't know if I put the numbers on there, I don't think I did, but after the split, you're gonna end up with 2 non-conforming lots out of this per our ordinance. Our ordinance state you have to have 8,000 square feet. And then after the split, you're not gonna have the 8,000 square feet on either property. And the setbacks on the rear lot line for sure, it's actually only gonna be 18 feet, and the rear lot lines in our ordinance state 25 feet is the minimum, is what you can have for a rear backyard.
Okay, so what you're telling us is the request that's been made would be in conflict with city ordinance,
Correct,
and hence we would be violating city ordinance if we granted it.
correct.
And we can't do that. We're not empowered to violate city ordinance. Correct?
Correct,
Yeah?
correct.
Okay, well, we'll do this the right way. We're in a public hearing, but everybody just heard that. Is there anyone out here who would like to speak on this one? We'll certainly hear you.
Yes, I sure will.
Yeah.
I'm Mark Schmidt. This is my mother Doris. This is my son Zach. Zach is wanting to buy the house on Irish Street.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why I'm here, other than, okay, so we're talking about this 8,000 square feet. Are we building a new subdivision?
No.
No. Okay, so the one house, you had the numbers, 4,500. My parents bought that house in the 60s. So, to make things simple, what do we need to do? Buy one of the neighbors' houses, knock it down, bulldoze it, take another house off the tax roll in the city. So, my parents bought the Ira property from a guy who was going to lose it. And then with that being said, my dad added on to his garage, which is using part of that land. And now to split this, there's no way that you could split it without buying more property to make 2 lots, 8,000 square feet. Now, does the city own any lots right now that are 8,000 square feet? Has the city granted a permit on any lot in this city to build a new property that's 8,000 square feet, less than 8,000 square feet?
Since I've been here, no.
I don't think so. If we did, I don't remember any.
So, I mean, to me, this is nonsense. So the corner lot, so the Ira lot is still bigger than the corner, the house on the corner. That's a non-conforming lot. So what do we have to do to split these two properties? They've already went through, resurveyed, spent $4,200 on this.
So,
Okay.
one
Yeah.
thing that, I think we've spoke with Zach a little bit on this.
Yeah, so you brought up the easement, which
Yep.
both families currently will be in those houses that is an issue, but, you know, could be worked around. But if we were to ever sell the house to anyone, most lenders, and that most people don't write checks for houses, most lenders will not accept that. So that's the issue we're running into, is that if we were to do it that way, we're just pushing the problem down the road until one of us sells the house. So that's where we're at right now, is that if we ever break these houses up out of our family, that it's gonna be an issue down the road.
So I think easements, and I don't know this, I just started kind of looking into this a little bit, just on some other stuff, but an easement can go two different ways, I do believe. They can either go with the owner or the property. And it'd be that would be the two different options you have. So if the easement went with the property, then you guys could sell that, and it would be obviously an easement. There's nothing that one owner can do out of the other.
I understand that, but most lenders will not approve that for a home.
Okay.
So, I mean, so back in the day when they were selling off lots,
Yeah,
you know, for 4,500 square feet or whatever. So, I mean, to me, so is there a limit? And I know there's a rule on a lot in this city. What is the percentage of the square foot of that house? What is that number?
I don't know that offhand. I just know the lot size, the minimum lot size as of now. So you stated that the houses were bought in the 60s.
hold on a second. Mark, Mark, is your mom still living in the house that you were raised in?
Yes.
Yeah, I know where it is. Anyway, just hold on a second. Mark and I met in kindergarten. Doris might not remember this, but we met when she treated me at our hospital 1 year before kindergarten. We're good. We just gotta figure this out. Okay, I don't know you yet. Hello. Okay, and I know where the neighborhood, obviously, and I know where the house is. Okay, so is this in conflict strictly with the city ordinance? This isn't like any state issue. It's just the city ordinance says the lots have to be the different size. Is that where we are?
I'm gonna tell you that I didn't look at the state.
Okay, well, okay.
So I looked at our ordinance.
Okay,
and it's
which is what you
violation.
should do, but okay, so we have a conflict there. But,
Can I just clarify, so on the picture, so the current is the green and the yellow, and we want to change to the black, right? Or am I going backward on that?
Yeah.
So it's green and yellow are current, we want to move to
Correct.
black. Okay.
Correct.
Want to be sure we're splitting the right
And I mean, we just gotta,
way.
I
Okay.
guess we all have to understand that there's ordinances out there for a reason.
Yeah,
And
right.
we have to kind of follow them, and I get, once in a while, we can make something work if there's something there, but there's nothing here as of this project. So, I mean, I make a recommendation not to approve it, and I say that just because of our ordinance. So then, I guess, as soon as we start
yeah.
bending and everything of our ordinance, we might as well not have an ordinance, I guess, is how I kind of look at it. You know, things were done differently back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Now we're trying to move forward, trying to be proactive on our comprehensive plan, trying to be proactive on seeing the future of our city grow. And you know, we just have to, I think, move forward in a positive direction here. So I guess that's up to you guys to make your guys'
So I guess I got a question. Say, okay, this corner lot that's on Kinder and Ira, okay? Say those people don't pay their taxes, and the city gets it, and the house is run down, they have to tear it down. City owns it. What would the city do with that property? Because it's not 8,000 square feet, so does the city just come over and mow it? Shovel the
I don't know.
sidewalks?
I mean, I'm not, I guess right now we're not here to really discuss that corner lot. Really, we're here to discuss this
Well,
land split. So I'm
but I'm
not
sa-
sure. I
I'm
can't
saying
tell you what that
that-
corner lot would be.
with this land split, the way they have it drawn,
Mm-hmm.
is bigger than that corner lot. That lot is bigger than a lot of other lots in this city. So I can't haul in more property to make it 8,000 square feet.
Right, I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay.
Okay. Zach, you got anything else you want to tell us?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you guys can do whatever you want, it's just whenever, we plan on being there as long as grandma's is there, so however long that is, but at that time, then this will just become a bigger issue, because if we try to sell, we wouldn't be able to sell two houses, we'd have to sell both houses to one person.
I guess the only other solution, just kind of looking at is that, you'd have to get rid of your garage that's on that existing property, and, you follow the setbacks out of that off the Kinder Street.
So, and of course, you tear down a garage, which is gonna devalue that property, which is gonna take more money out of the tax roll.
Right.
Now, is that a common sense decision? I'm not on the city council, but I think I could answer that question.
Yeah, the unfortunate part, it's not really about the common sense part, it's about following the rules and ordinance.
The thing is, Mark, I'll work with you on this to see if we can figure something out, but I really don't think this commission has the authority to approve something that violates a city ordinance. I don't think we can even do that.
Correct.
I mean, go ahead.
How about a variance?
I was gonna say that, that's what I think we need some more conversation on this, some more dialogue on this, because of variance. I mean, we've done that. I don't know one exactly like this, but I remember one in Allison Park for a second garage on a property on Sunset Lane. And we did a variance, Todd Gruber, and we did a variance so he could do that. It's a little different than this, but it's the same theory, concept.
Yep.
But did he do that on his property?
Yeah, he did. He did. He did that on the lot he already had. There's a garage right next to the house, and he wanted to put a second one.
So, I guess I have a question, if we were to somehow make lot 2 8,000 square feet, would there be an issue then at that point? Because right now, we currently have it cut off, and I don't know that you would be interested in that, but if we were to, that property, and just give grandma what she has plus the garage. I don't know if we can even get to 8,000, but if we can get to 8,000 square feet on lot 2, would that be a problem?
But I don't think there's enough square footage
Yeah, and I don't know.
to do that.
I don't know either.
You'd have to go
Yeah.
like a foot from the garage and then go around it, and,
Yeah.
but.
Okay, well, okay.
So definitely with the variance, with you, Ray, they can apply for one, but no guarantees again, we just haven't.
No, but that's probably what we should be pursuing, because that we can consider. I mean, just to blanket say violate the ordinance, that's not our job.
Right.
To consider a variance, I think that's, Mark, I think that's what we should do. And then I can get,
So when did, obviously they didn't have this back in the 50s and the
Right.
40s and the 60s. So when did Richland Center adopt this for 8,000 square feet? I can totally understand this. Say if I went out and I bought a cornfield, right?
Right.
And had it in Richland Center, and then you guys said all the lots have to be 8,000 square feet. I understand that, okay? So there has to be somewhere, because like I said, I cannot build property.
I understand. Okay, Matt, the way to look at this is a variance.
Right, yeah.
We can,
I would agree with
we're not done here, we just have to do it the right way. So if we can you work with them on this?
Absolutely.
So, but, you know, we already paid, what, $425 for this, and I don't want this to drag out to where, okay, we gotta pay $600 for this next meeting, and $2,000 for the meeting after that. And,
I don't see a reason it would do that, Mark.
and so, I just wanna split these properties, and
Okay,
I'm really struggling with things that happened back in time. And so now this obviously would have, because my parents, and I didn't have this information, I did not know this, but they had it surveyed with that map up there in October of 2000 October 17, 2003. And I don't know, it has a signature of a county supervisor on there, but obviously the county or the city doesn't have any registration of this, but, yeah, I just,
The reason,
Yeah, go ahead, Doris.
the reason we bought this Ira property is because the people that were living there said, we're going to lose it. Could you possibly buy it? Because we're losing it. They couldn't afford it. So we bought it. It was, Herb tore down the back and built an addition on there and made it livable.
Okay. So,
I guess I don't totally understand variances though, but to me that sounds like
So
devaluing.
there are 3 points to a variance. It's a unique property, which you have, unnecessary hardship, and that's not financial, it is, it kind of goes off of where the property's at, how it works, and then won't harm the public, and so you're good on that. But then the unnecessary hardship, since it's not financial, and it's not gonna fall in that probably unnecessary hardship. So that's gonna be up to the board once again. I don't have any say in it, I follow the ordinance. But that would, obviously, if you go through your 3 criterias, it's probably not gonna go through there either, depending on the board, I guess. That's not up to me, it's not gonna meet the 3.
So, a question, so you had the home that you were living in, and then you purchased the other home, and at that point, did you combine the 2? Or,
Well, we
No,
rented the Ira house, and, now my grandson wants to buy the Ira house.
But the properties adjoin, but the buildings don't adjoin.
so how did the properties join, I guess is my question. I mean, because
Well,
if you,
If they pull the map back up, I have it right here too.
So, I mean, is there any permits or anything on that garage when it was built? I mean, I don't know, I never did any research on it, I'm just asking.
I'm pretty positive, I would, nothing's 100%, but I would say 99.9%. My dad was a very reputable contractor in the city.
True.
And he did not go around building things without people having permits. So, that being said,
the city approved it when he had to go to a city meeting back in 62, I think.
Probably not 60.
Well, whenever,
So
whenever,
the garage got added on in 1987. So there is nothing to each structure that has changed since at least 1987. No additions, no. And Ira House, that project was done in, I think about 83 or 84.
We still in high school then?
Yes,
Okay.
because I was working on the house with my dad. And I was still in high school, that I do remember. So,
he built a lot of houses.
Yes, he did. Go ahead, Rick.
At one time, these had to be 2 lots.
yes.
When did it become 1 lot?
It's still 2 lots.
It's still 2 lots.
The problem is that the garage of my grandmother's house is technically on property.
On your-
On the Ira.
Okay.
That's the whole issue.
Yeah, so the garage
Okay,
that-
so how did the garage get built and not meet setbacks?
That's why I was asking if there was a permit or something there.
But look, Mark, you're right, your dad was a great contractor. I'm sure he did what he should have done. I would not question that at all. We gotta figure out how to,
Is the garage connected to the house?
Yes,
Okay,
it's connected to it's connected to the garage that's connected to the house.
okay, so the
So I would-
garage the garage that is on the lot on the Ira Street property is connected to the house on the Kinder Street property?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, all right,
okay.
okay.
Like I said, we can definitely try variance
Okay.
in front of the board again.
Yeah, here's what we need to do, because I also wanna, honestly, I wanna consult with the city attorney and get his input on it too, and sort it out. Mark, I don't see, what you said, I don't see a reason this is gonna turn into a bunch of fees and all that thing. We gotta do this right, and this is unique. I'm not sure how we got the garage the way it is, I'm sure it was done right. But we just have to make sure we're following the rules. And I want the city attorney to look at this with Matt and give us some advice on how we can help you, you know, legally. Because we can't just say, forget the ordinance. But I would like to help you. I just have to make sure we're doing it right.
Right.
So I think what we need to do is pause right now and refer this, you're doing your job, it's not about you. Refer this to the city attorney for some consultation on how we can move this forward. If we can do a variance or what we need to do. And if you don't mind, I'd like to come over and see this. Just have you show me and get some pictures for everybody too, because it's just unique, that's all. And this is what you get, Mark, and I hear what you're saying. This is what you get when you have established neighborhoods that were built one way, and then the ordinance changes after that, and then you want to change something in the old lots, and then you run into this stuff. Because we all agree with you, nobody wants to see stuff coming off the tax roll either. I heard you. Does anybody object to that?
No, I just want to clear my head.
So
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
This is the current lot right here?
So, well, no,
So
this here would be my mom's current lot with her house.
Okay.
So they bought this property right here,
Yep.
and then they redid this house, and my dad added on this garage, which is connected to the other garage that's connected to the house.
And then the black lines.
You want to make this one lot now?
Right here.
Correct.
Okay.
Which then, that would make that 7,500 square feet.
This is your mom's house?
Yes.
And then this is X.
Yes.
Do you want, this is the lot, do you want to make and separate this?
Yeah, so we want the lot lines
Yep.
here, and with this little notch here, just because of the setback from the back steps out of the house.
Got it.
And with that setback, you're still only at 8 required to apply for rear lots. Did Tom leave? Okay.
You had to go.
Karen, you're in charge
So,
now.
at this, yeah.
Once either
I guess
Karen
it's
or
left-
Karen's, you're it.
Left this one in my lap. At this point, I guess we will just pause this.
So going forward, I guess I can just say something, I mean, if we go forward with this land split, or put it on pause, no matter what the outcome is of this, you almost have to approve it or deny it, and then they have to apply for a variance, if that's the case, because otherwise, I mean, put it on pause, there's still, I mean, in our ordinance, you're still creating an illegal lot by the land split, so at the next meeting, like,
So don't
Mark's-
we have to deny it so they can take the next step?
correct.
Because otherwise, if we pause it, they're still,
We're waiting on this, we're waiting on a land split.
so we need to make a
Like
decision.
Mark, or like
so he
Todd
can
just
do
said,
that.
is Todd said that it's illegal, we can't do this, so.
Can't we take no action? Well, if we take no action, doesn't it still leave with the same?
Right.
Can they
Same
apply for all the stuff if we take no action?
We're taking no action and doing further review to find out what options we have. That's what we would normally do, that's what my head says.
Right, but, I mean, right now, they applied for a land split, so the land split even further into this isn't gonna change. They're gonna have to do further investigation. We will, with the attorney, to say what's the next step. So obviously, the land split is, like Todd said, I mean, you guys can't, he feels like you guys don't wanna do it because of the ordinance stating this. And I guess the next step would be either, like I said, you can put it on idle, but then when we come back in the next meeting, it's back to the land split, and we're voting on that, or you guys are voting on that versus the variance or whatever the city attorney says.
Yeah, I guess the reason that I would pause it is that if we deny it, and then the attorney says, well, if it wasn't denied, we could have done this.
Okay.
So
Yep.
why don't we pause this, and we'll bring it back for further review for the city attorney and take it from there. So no action. Okay. Thank you very much for presenting the information, and like I said, I'm sure Matt and the city attorney will confer, and then Matt, will you get back, you'll get back to the board?
Yep, absolutely.
Then Matt will give you
Zach, I do have your number, so.
a call.
All right.
You know where he lives.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, then moving on to number 7, consider application of Johnson LLC for conditional use permit to allow for auto garage repair or facility at 943 Sextonville Road, tax parcel ID 276-22159-2000, in light of ongoing enforcement efforts.
Okay, so, I just have a couple updates. I know, the city attorney has been, I tried to work with the owner, which is Eric Johnson. He does have some personal medical issues, so it's kind of touch and go. He's in and out of the hospital quite a bit. But I did try to work with him. He's on board. It's the tenant that's kind of giving him some grief. I did meet with the tenant yesterday, and walked through with him, make it black and white. And today when I drove by, I see that he was moving the trailers and getting the trucks and stuff moved out of there. You know, he's willing to work with us, and he was gone for a week and a half, down helping out with the hurricane relief stuff. So he did say that's why that trailer was sitting there for so long. It blew some apart when they were in Spring Green. They brought it back, grabbed another trailer, and went down, and they just got back, I do believe Monday night. So Eric did call me, the owner, Eric Johnson, today. He said he would be here. I told him, obviously, since he's kind of got some health stuff going on, I just said that I would report that I've been in touch with him, and he's been in touch with me. He's been really good. So I've been trying to help out, just push things along. So as of today, I see progress, so hopefully. The other thing is, I did not give him a written notice violation, which is my bad. I'm still kind of learning at this a little bit. So I did give him a written violation. I gave him until November 1st. And at that time, you know, obviously we can do violations, citations or anything like you guys see fit, but I would say that if you guys would just say at November 1st, if there's still violations there, it's just, you guys deny it, and we go from there. And if obviously there's no violations, maybe we can approve that conditional use permit.
Question, does he have a building permit for whatever that overhang on?
Yep, and that's why they stopped, because I did get a hold of Tracy. Tracy went in, and the day that he stopped in there, he got all of Eric's information, the owner of that place, and Eric did fill out the building permit that same day, paid the fees the same day. So they've been working with Tracy, which is good. Those headers and that canopy, that's definitely got to be fixed. So that's kind of where they're at right now with the building permit part.
So, once again, just wondering going forward, is he going to, has he had any conversations with you about the viability of his business? Going forward, not having all of those trucks there for parts and whatnot?
Yep, so he did explain a little bit more. So I guess your common use of what we think of an auto repair shop, we're thinking that we're dropping our vehicle off for an oil change, it's getting done that day or in a couple hours, and either it gets dropped off, picked up, whatever. What he's kind of doing there is, it's kind of a specialty, and I didn't know this. You know, I had a learning curve myself yesterday. He specializes in diesel trucks for pulling, upgrading diesel, basically your regular trucks. And, you know, these motors that he's putting in these trucks are $35,000, $40,000. So the lead time on one of those, he says anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. What I did tell him, obviously, everybody's seen the pictures, everybody's probably seen driving past. There are trucks that are just completely gutted. He did say that he was gonna get rid of those. And then I just did say that if he could put in like a different color piece of paper in the windshield saying it's a customer's vehicle versus something that's just junk, you know, something that he's working on getting rid of. So I guess he's kind of in an unfortunate part because he's looking at it, or he's working on a 6 to 12 week plan, where most auto shops are working on a day plan. So.
Sure. I mean, you know, that's understandable, but like I said, most of those vehicles back there are not there for service. They're there to provide parts and whatnot. They're the ones that are being
And
serviced.
he did say, so per our ordinance, if they're housed inside his shop, that's completely fine. So they just can't be stored outside. And so he's gonna work on that, and like I said, today when I drove past, I know he was working on the trailer, getting the trailers off the street. I told him that. Hours of operation, that was another thing that got brought up in the last meeting. And he said that 7, 8 o'clock, he's done. He'll be done, and just gotta hold him to it. I hate to lose a business, you know, I get it that it's, especially now, the times that we're in, you know, everybody's just trying to do whatever they can to survive, but I also understand we have ordinance and we have to follow those ordinance. And I think with me talking to the tenant versus kind of a third party thing, I hope that kind of helped out and sank into the tenant a little bit, so.
When was the original conditional use permit granted?
2019, I believe, with Victor Powell.
And it's changed ownership or changed businesses?
It did change ownership. It changed ownership, so Victor Powell bought it from the Tesniks, and then Victor Powell sold it to Eric Johnson out of Muscadet, and this guy that we have in, or they have in there now, has been there, I thought he told me last night, was 5 years.
So they're not even supposed to be operating right now, correct?
Correct.
And what did you give them as a violation notice? Do you have that?
I don't know, I don't, I emailed it.
What is the violation notice? What does it do? What does it say?
So you're operating, obviously without a conditional use permit, you're operating with multiple inoperable unregistered vehicles, you're operating with garbage, I can't think of the name right now, you got me on the spot, so it's basically junk, so you're picking up the junk and the construction materials that he's got, the concrete, the 2x4s, all the construction materials, that's another ordinance violation, you can't have that.
But that would be if they had a conditional use permit.
Correct, yeah.
So they don't even have that to operate the business, so per the ordinance, I don't know, whatever it is there a letter that's supposed to go out that you're supposed to cease operations till you get this?
So they can put, obviously, citations on them. We have been working with them, and that was kind of the thing for the last meeting brought up, that we're trying to just work with them and try to get them in compliance to get this conditional use permit.
So my understanding is he has until November 1st to get into compliance so that we will then reissue the
Correct.
Conditional use permit for timeframe, was it a year? Are they, because that was the first one.
The
It was supposed
original
to-
one was a year?
It was supposed to be for a year, and
Yeah, and I think a lot of, since they switched ownerships there, I don't think that information really got passed along.
right.
They probably, and I don't know, assuming everybody knows the saying with assuming, it kind of makes some things out of people, but, you know, they're probably just thinking that that Victor was operating out of this before, and just thought that was a use. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but if it is granted, it is for a year, and it's all the conditions that we talked about last month, which I don't have, that I should have brought.
Just so I understand, on November 1st, that's his compliance date. But that's not when a variance goes into it, or not a variance, a conditional use permit.
That conditional, he has to be in compliance with that conditional use permit. So right now, he's not even in ordinance with the inoperable vehicles, the garbage, everything. He's got to clean that up. That was part of the conditional use permit. And then after he gets all that stuff cleaned up, then that conditional use permit would go into effect.
We never approved a conditional use permit.
Correct, and so the only reason that I'm saying November 1 is, I guess it's kind of on a future thing on our agenda, but I'll just say it quick. I don't know what the plans are for next month's meeting, because it does fall around the holidays. So instead of waiting until December, I just figured if you guys want to say, put out and say, we'll approve it if everything's up to par to our ordinance, or you'll deny it if it's not. And if you say that now, then I guess it'd probably be in my hands a little bit, but I'd be obviously reach out to you guys and tell you either way. If not, we can wait until whatever meeting is next. But then he probably should be shut down November 1, I guess is my.
Because I think we talked about it last month, is we were gonna give him 30 or 45 days to, let's not shut you down, let's attempt to get you into compliance. And if you don't attempt to get there at that point, I think the thought was last month, at that 30 or 45 days shut down. So it sounds like you're doing what we asked you to do, and he's attempting to get himself into compliance for yes, technically he should have been in compliance to start with.
Correct.
But you know what, we are where we're at today. It's kind of like the garage, it was built. What are we gonna do about it now? So.
When did you mail the letter, or deliver the letter?
Violation.
Yeah.
I emailed it to him last Friday.
Can you email a copy of that to the planning committee?
Absolutely.
And then if that's last Friday, and you said November 1.
I gave him 2 weeks, 14 days.
Okay, so then on November 1st, what would be the next meeting that would come up? Because at that point, then we can approve the conditional use.
Yes.
Because we're not approving it based on November 1st, because we won't be meeting.
Right.
November 27th.
Okay.
Well, so that's kind of why we.
Okay, so if you will document what the property looks like on November 1st, that way you can bring that to us on November 27th.
You guys want to do that with the holidays, I guess, that's kind of the question with that, just to make
Do
sure.
you want to what?
Do that with the holidays right there?
Is that Thanksgiving?
I think that's Thanksgiving.
On Wednesday?
I could be wrong, I don't know.
Well,
I
is it
don't.
the Wednesday before that? I
Yes,
mean,
it's Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
okay, that's.
The 27th is Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the question, since it's coming real close to the holiday, do you want to actually hold a meeting in November or forego until December? At this point, we don't have many things in alignment for the November meeting, and with it being close to Thanksgiving, the question is, do you want to shift it a little bit so it doesn't conflict? Do you want to hold it on that day or postpone until the December meeting, so?
And I know that's on they're coming up on the agenda, so I didn't really want to jump around too much, but.
If we could postpone it until the first or second week in December, then we wouldn't have to have another meeting probably until January.
That's what I was just looking.
So you want to kind
Because
of.
Christmas time would fall
Yeah.
right
On the
when.
fourth one.
Correct,
On the
yeah,
fourth
that
Wednesday.
was the next question I actually have here about December meeting as well, so.
But in between those two holidays.
Yeah, so if you split it and go with either the 11th or the 18th, so it's kind of two.
I don't know what other
so-
meetings
I don't know what
really
else.
have at that point, I guess.
So could it be just tentative based on what else the city has going on? Because who knows? Well, shouldn't say who knows, Jason knows. I don't feel it.
There's, I'm not tracking all the different events, I can see if I got it on the website here, what meetings might come up, looks like library board might meet on the 18th, but other than that, I don't see any conflict, that's currently published.
Library board would meet on, oh, maybe. Typically, we've done it on the 23rd, but, because we meet on Monday.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm not responsible for
Yeah,
this.
I know, I was just trying to, what?
It's November that's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you were saying, I'm sorry, you were
December.
saying December, and we're probably not, let's see, if we're gonna
That makes
see
more
if we
sense,
can
right?
pull it. December apply, see if there's anything published. Still looks,
So the 18th would be all right?
looks clear according to what's there now.
So if planning agrees to grant the conditional use, then that goes again, has to go forward to council? Or is it just done at the planning?
You need those council, doesn't it?
Council?
They go council.
Well, then I'm just saying that it doesn't get to council until January,
When's your council meeting in December?
the 3rd.
What's the process for conditional use permit?
Well, does it go to council?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but like, what, do you fill out a piece of paper, pay an application fee?
Yeah, correct.
That's it?
And then, like now, it's, you're investigating the uses of it. You know, so like if somebody's doing,
I mean, I remember the first times was iffy, like at council. But somebody spearheaded that campaign.
Unless we just move our meeting in November up to the 20th.
as of now, I don't have anything else to go to November, December meeting. I will. I think we'll have a couple bigger projects probably coming ahead for that meeting, but I don't have time to get the notifications and stuff out in the mail and the paper. So in November, the only thing that we I would have, as of now, would be this conditional use permit.
Okay.
And further review
Well, I mean, if he's
What?
operating without the conditional use permit, that doesn't, the question I asked last meeting was, you know, is any way that is the city, what do I want to say? Responsible or anything if injury were to happen there and he's operating without conditional use permit, is the city held responsible for
That should
anything?
carry under his own insurance.
Right, so if we don't approve it until the January meeting, I don't see that as a problem. And maybe from November 1st to January, you know, he will,
I guess the other thing too,
Keep his
Jason just
tools.
kind of said this, so we're probably gonna wanna, talk about the Schmidt land split, maybe in November. I'll have to go with Michael Window and see what he's got and maybe what we can do going forward. If the land split gets denied, if there's a variance gonna be his next option, or what his options are. I think you guys made the good call after I got thinking about it more and more, it's probably right. If you deny it, then you could say, oh, I shouldn't have did that, so, that was a good call. Like I said, I'm still new at this, so,
yeah,
winging it a little bit, but I think that I'll get with Michael and see what his next thoughts are about doing that, so.
okay, so do we feel that we want to meet then November 20th? Do the conditional use permit and then send that to council on December 3rd? Or do we want to wait and move everything out a month?
I won't be here November 20th, but it seems to make the most sense to keep everything on a time frame.
Tighter timeframe?
Because also, well, I mean, otherwise we're gonna keep, you know, hey, we want you to get it done, but we're not gonna meet to have a
Yeah.
conversation
Right.
to get you done.
And
And plus, if he knows if he has till January, what's the urgency to hit November?
He's gotta be in compliance November 1 by the letter, right?
right,
So,
But if there's no,
but that's why
So
I'm,
then by
there
the
wouldn't be any
20th,
teeth in
he
it
has a
for,
little extra
hey,
wiggle time.
we're
yeah,
not
but if he's not in compliance November 1, you can shut him down.
right, that's what I'm proposing, you guys, because I don't have the authority to do that, so that's up to you guys.
I'm pretty ambitious at times, but if you gave me 14 days, I don't know if I could do that in 14 days.
That's a lot of equipment to get out of here, last time I looked. Just saying, but it would be nice.
But I mean, realistically, we gave them 40, well, since our last meeting, 45 days probably
Right.
is what we're giving them, but.
yeah,
he
like you
put
said
in time.
before, you had to do it right and get it in writing, so I'm assuming there was a verbal, but a verbal.
Correct,
count,
yeah.
so it's not like he was unaware.
Correct.
Okay, so are you saying that on November 1st, we could give you direction to say, if you are not in compliance, you are denied and you need to shut this down?
Correct,
That's what your letter says, right?
correct.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything, that's what the letter is for.
Oh, well, I
But
thought
you're
you were
asking
just
us-
saying that you didn't have the authority.
But you're asking us
No,
to give you the authority to do that.
Correct, like the letter just says, because I didn't know if you guys were gonna meet again.
Right?
We just have to approve for you to shut him down on November 1st if he's not.
Yeah, if he's not in compliance. And then we move on and we'll talk about something else the
I
next
think that was
meeting.
Ray's motion.
Sure, I'll make that a motion.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call vote on that.
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
you'll get
It's the
used
easiest
to the
it's the
names.
easiest way.
Miller,
Here,
Miller,
here.
Tepley,
Aye.
Gillette,
Aye.
Out of here.
Wilson, aye.
Aye.
Carnes,
Aaron's.
Karen's, sorry, Karen's.
I did that for a while. Okay,
All right.
that, motion passes.
I'm not used to being in the driver's seat like that, doing roll calls, so start learning names.
Okay, let me get back to the agenda.
You need a harder name, Lisa.
Sorry,
I mean, you
I'm so
can't get a whole
sorry.
lot easier than that. It really can't.
All right. So that's been decided. Moving on, comprehensive Plan review and updates. Anything, Jason?
I do not have anything. We've been very, very busy with active projects, so I haven't had time to really look at the elements that are being met or not met on the comprehensive plan. So if anybody on the committee has something, I'm glad to add it to the list, but I'm confident we're making progress, I just haven't had time to compare it to the list, so.
Do you have anything, Lisa? No. I don't either. Anyone else?
I do.
All right.
Is there any update on when we're gonna see Panorama Estates build their second apartment?
The only update that, on that is that there's a scheduled meeting again with the legal representative of Panorama Estates and with city department heads. That we'll be discussing some final details in that agreement and trying to get it to the finish line. So that's supposed to occur this week. So there's active work, but that's all I can report at this time.
Okay, and that actually, I guess, falls under the next one, which was reports and updates. Because I don't think the Panorama was on the comprehensive plan necessarily. But, okay, so any other reports or updates in general from? Nothing more? Okay. All right, future agenda items. Anyone have anything to add?
If we're gonna do the 20th, it's gonna be the Irish Street with Doris Schmidt land split, and then should be it. I'll probably an update, obviously, on how this November 1st went.
Okay.
If they're approved it or not.
All righty. Anybody else have anything to add to the agenda? No? All right, set next meeting date. So we've decided on November 20th. And that would be on a Wednesday at, what time do we want?
5:30.
5:30? All right. Next item is motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All right. And we adjourn.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Oh, yes, all in favor, say aye. Actually, you don't have to do that, I was informed.
Yeah.
I was informed. But